What's up, y'all? It's your boy, Coach Carl. Mr. 57 is the new 27. And I was on my way out the door when I decided that I was going to come sit down and I was going to make this podcast based on something I've been thinking about all day. Things I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. Man, let's start off. Let me go back a little bit. When I was 16 years old, man, I used to come home from school. I remember specifically around the 15, 16 bracket. I would come home from school and I would do all of this working out, man, because I was in karate and I was trying to get into boxing, but hadn't actually started boxing at the time. But I used to go around my neighborhood a lot, and a lot of the older guys be out at the basketball court. And one day I came around the way and it was a guy talking to another guy. And he says, I bet you won't try those moves on Carl. He mess around and kick you in the face a couple times. And the dude was like, well, he know karate or something? He's like, yeah, man, he's deep in the karate. So the guy came over and he says, hey, man, let me ask you a question. He said, in karate, what kind of punches do y'all throw? So I'm like, reverse punches, some jabs, basic stuff. Because in karate, they don't really work a lot with your hands as far as like technique like a boxer. So he was like, but you good with your feet? I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good with my feet. So I throw all kinds of front kicks, side kicks, round kicks, double kicks. He was like, yo, you nasty with your feet. Let me show you something. He said, hold your hands up like this. And he says, I'm going to hold my hands up and I want you to just pop my hand. Don't hit it hard. Just pop my hand. So I was like, pack, 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 pack. And he was like, yo, you got good rhythm, good movement. He said, let me start teach you how to box. He said, so I'll work with you a little bit on that. And then you'll be able to add it to your martial arts. And I was like, cool. So he started training me. And every day I would come around the way. He gave me a pair of bag gloves. And I would come around the way and I would either hit his bag or I would hit his hands. And he would teach me a couple of things. And then one day I came around the way and I was asking the guys in the neighborhood, had they seen him? And they was like, man, he got locked up. And I was like, got locked up? And it was like, yeah. So I said, what'd he do? They was like, man, some probation violation. So I said, okay, cool. So I said, where's he at? So he told me where he was at. So about 2 days later, I got in my car and I went to the city jail and I signed up to go in to see him. And when I went in to see him, I talked to him and, we talked through the glass. And he told me, he says, man, don't give up on your boxing, man. You got some real good chances to do something with boxing. He said, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to this gym that's down in Newport News, which was the next city over. And I want you to go in the gym and I want you to tell him, tell Abdul that Snake sent you. So I goes in and I'm looking around. There's a lot of Muslims in there. They was listening to reggae music and all that. So I walk in and I say, hey, is anybody here named Abdul? They said, yeah, that's the guy over there in the corner. I said, okay, cool. So I went over in the corner. I said, hey, what's up, man? I said, my name is Carl Parker. And he said, how can I help you? I said, a friend of mine was training me to box and he got locked up and he told me to come see you. He said, what was your friend's name? I said, Snake. He looked at me like, Snake taught you? He said, let me see you put your guard up. So I put my guard up. He said, pop my hand. I was like, pack. He said, pop my hand. Pack, pack. He said, hook, pack. He said, yeah, Snake taught you. He said, go get your gym clothes on. I said, you ain't say how much it was going to cost or nothing. He said, Snake taught you. Go put your gym clothes on. It was just like that. I ain't had to pay. And so what ended up happening is I ended up taking lessons from them and also teaching the people that were a little bit under me that didn't know as much as I knew. So essentially, I was a boxer / coach. So I used to come home from school every day, man, 16 years old, and I would go in my room and I would go through my push-ups and my sit-ups, and I always did curls and upright rows. And for some reason, and I did overhead press, dumbbell press, but I wasn't using dumbbells, I was using the whole bar. So then I would run to the gym, and the gym was about maybe 3 miles from my house. So I run to the gym and then I would run home. And I remember a lot of times coaches and different people had asked me if I wanted to ride. I was like, nah, this is where I got my road work. My road work was when you run. And when you run, you need to run because that's how you're going to have your cardio to be able to climb in the ring. So I spent so much time doing that. I remember I couldn't sleep. I never could sleep. So I used to go to bed at night around 10 o'clock, and then I'd wake up around 1 in the morning, couldn't go back to sleep. So I'd always throw on a hoodie. Back then, I had a Walkman, a big fat Walkman with the little small earphones, and they go around your head. So I would get my Walkman, I get my earphones, I get my hoodie, and I put on some sweatpants and my track sneakers, and I go running. And I started off just like running a mile. Before you know it, I could run the whole city. I mean, I might run 10 miles, but I was like 16, 17, 18 years old at that time. So I would run, and I didn't know where I was half the time. So one Saturday night, I was running over town. So you go over the bridge where the shipyard is, and there's some apartments back there, but you know, it's a lot of activities going on back there that you might not want to be involved in. So I was running down the street, and I could see a set of apartments a little further down from me. So as I was running down the street, I saw a whole lot of people outside, and it was a cutoff street. And I was running towards the cutoff street, and I was just going to turn there and then go back towards the people. I wasn't going to run past all them people because I didn't know what was going on. So the closer I got, I could tell that they were paying attention to me. Excuse me. So they started coming towards me, and I was still running in that direction, but we both were going to the cutoff street. So because I was in really good shape, I sped up and hit the cutoff street, and then all I heard was feet running behind me. I'm running down the cutoff street, going to the next boulevard, and I was gonna make a right and take it back to the crib. So they was behind me, but they couldn't catch me. At least they couldn't catch me at that time. And I got on the next street, and then I was running. I had about maybe a quarter mile, and then I would turn to go to this bridge, and the bridge went up, and then it came down because you know boats went under the bridge. So they was behind me. They was maybe 100 yards behind me. They was getting a little close. And then when I hit that bridge, I started flying. And I was propelling, bro. I was propelling. And they couldn't catch me. And so I came down off the bridge. I got to the top of the bridge. When I got to the top of the bridge, I looked down. They was at like this. They was done. And I kept running. And I had to run like maybe another 2 miles, and I was at the crib. And I said, okay, you need to start watching where you running at 1 o'clock in the morning, because some of these people out here ain't fair. And so that's one of the stories, one of the funny stories. I'll tell you another funny story. I had a young lady friend of mine that lived in Richmond. When I was staying in Richmond, I was like 19. And she told me, she said her granddaddy wanted to go running when he came down. He always liked to go running. And he was former, Army, but she didn't tell me that. And so he liked to go running. So I said, I'll go running with him. So I went over there and got ready to go running with him. And he's an older guy, but he didn't look real old. I don't know how old he was. I was 18. I probably thought he was like 50-something, but I think he was 60-something. So we went for this run. And we shot out, and I had a nice little pace, and I'm thinking, I'm a runner. And he had a nice little pace, and I'm thinking, he a runner. And so the more we started running, we ran like 3 miles. So we got to about 1.5 miles, and I realized he started speeding up. So tested my gangster, so I started speeding up. And as I started speeding up, he started speeding up. And then when we cut the corner, we was about maybe 1/2 mile from the crib. He said, okay, let's go a little faster. So we got a little faster, and then we got down the street. We was like 100 yards from the crib, and he just shot out. So I shot out, and I was trucking right behind him. And I was like, well, we did pretty good. We was pretty much neck and neck. We got to the crib, and I was bent over, and he didn't look like he was bent over at all. He looked like he could have ran another 5 miles. And so I said, dude, what did you do for a living? He said, oh, I'm an Army Ranger. I'm a retired Army Ranger. I'm like, that explains it. He said, every day, everywhere we went, we had to run. So when we come out of a building, we run. We come out of a building, we go to the bathroom, we go running. We come out of a building, go to a meeting, we go running. We go to lunch, we run. So it's just running all the time. I was like, yeah, well, I knew it was some stuff I needed to work on, because you was kicking the brother's hind parts. And I was like, yo, so it is what it is. And so I pretty much started saying that, I got reality checked. And so that was another good running story. But I used to do a lot of running, man. I used to come out the door and I used to run and just run. I ain't had no limits. I could run in the middle of the day, run at night, run in the morning when I was still asleep. It didn't make no difference. I used to run and I used to train all the time. Then got to the age where I started looking at girls and wanted a girlfriend and wanted to hang out, go to the movies at night and, all that kind of stuff. So then I started putting the workout off to the next day and putting that evening workout off into the morning. And before you know it, I wasn't working out the way I had been working out. So, I had got out of boxing at the time because just had too many things going on in my life. I was trying to go to college. I was trying to go to barber school, and everything took precedence besides working out. So one day I realized I had met my girlfriend at the time, and we dated for 8 months, and we got married. And coincidentally, I've been married now for 33 years. This is 2024, and I've been married for 33 years as of August the 13th, 1991. And so, you start doing different things. You want to open up a business, and you're working hard, and then you had your first son, and a whole lot of things get in the way. And so for years, you decided, the working out wasn't quite as important. I tried to stay into something, but not as much. So my sons got a little older, and I started teaching karate. That's kind of how I stayed active in that. And then when they got a little older, they was like 5. One was 5 and one was 3 when they started karate. And then when they got to 15 and 13, they wanted to go to boxing. So I got out of karate, had been in it for another 10 years, got into coaching boxing, got my boxing coach's license, and started a program out my backyard, and eventually put it in the building. And my gym was called The Art of Boxing. So once that started, that's when the real work started, because I only had 12 students when I opened up my gym. And 60 days later, I had 60 students. And outside of a year, I had 131 students total. Not everybody was a boxer that boxed in the ring, but everybody came into my gym because they learned the art of boxing. You could train like a boxer without boxing, if that makes any sense. So I padded up a lot of people, bag work a lot of people. Everybody went through the training program, whether it was the basic program, the intermediate program, or the advanced level program, which were the boxers. And so it was good. But what happens is when you got that many students, you're not training, you teaching them. So when that happened, of course, I was the master instructor that didn't work out. So for about maybe 5 or 6 years, no workout, just kind of padding up people. I'm walking with the walkers, and I'm signing people up every day. And, I may jump rope for 3 minutes once a week. And so I gained a lot of weight. And before I know it, I was walking past the mirror. Y'all heard the story before. I was walking past the mirror, and my belly was hanging over my belt. And I was normally somewhere around 130 to 150. And now I was 201. And that's what prompted me to go on a diet. And I went gung-ho because I was mad at myself. So gung-ho meant I went from, I lost 60 pounds in 60 days. So I went from 200 down to 140. Then I hovered around 132, 133, and I thought that was too light. So I decided to add about maybe 6 or 7 pounds. So right now I'm anywhere between 138 and 140. The things that I wish I would have known in my 20s is that this was going to happen, which is why I'm talking to y'all now. Because a lot of y'all in your 20s, a lot of y'all in your 30s, and you're mad that you stopped doing what you was doing that was taking you where you was trying to go. And then some of us missed the boat and we never come back. And some of us get back on the bandwagon and get back in shape like I did and get your life back. But I don't think that none of us actually realize that exercise and diet is a part of our life. That's the part of your life that you need in your life. You can make all the money in the world. You can have all the houses in the world. You can buy the best cars in the world. But your health, you can't buy that. So you could be rich. It's a lot of rich people that are still dying because their health ain't there. So what I'm trying to tell y'all now is don't do what I did to get where I'm at. Start now. Start today. If you 16, 18, 20, 30, 40, don't wait. I waited till I was 46 years old. And what if I would have tripped up? What if I'd have tripped up and couldn't get it? What if I'd have been too far gone and couldn't come back? Those are questions that we have to ask ourselves. So look, don't wait. Start today. Let today be day one, not one day. And get in shape, dog. Because once you get in shape, your whole life changes. I'm talking about you look better, you feel better, you even act better. Hey, look, going to a job, people don't understand that a job requires you to be in shape. They don't understand that. You ever tried to get a job at the shipyard? You got to climb them ladders up that boat to work on that boat. If you at the wrong weight, bro, your legs hurting, your knees hurting, your back hurting, your neck hurting, your arms hurting, how you going to do that? How you going to do your job? You need to be in shape to do your job. You need to be in shape to be on a college campus and walk across campus. You need to be in shape to be an Uber driver, to be a Uber Eats driver, where you got to jump out the car, go in the store, get back in the car, go to the person's house, jump out the car, go to the front door, come back to the car, go back to the store. That requires something. So health is wealth. People are always looking at making money. Look at making health. See, you'll make money because money is easy to make. This is America. You can make money. You can get a job somewhere. But if you're not in shape, then you're going to change the criteria of what the job is you're looking for. And you might not qualify for that job. See, if that job says you got to run down the street, or if you want to be a fireman, or you want to be a paramedic, or if you want to go in the military, those jobs require you to be in shape. Don't miss out on the opportunity because you let your health lessen. You can fix that. So say you heard it from me, your boy, Coach Carl. Remember, Mr. 57 is the new 27. It's just not a slogan. It's saying that I may be 57, but my heart is beating like I'm 27. So I'm trying to live, bro, because we got a lot to live for. You feel me? You might not think so when you ain't in shape, because when you ain't in shape, you can't do nothing. You be laying in the bed, sitting in a chair, using crutches, using a wheelchair, being sick all the time. You're sick because you're unhealthy, because you don't do things that you need to do to get yourself in that position. So stop eating all that sugar, because that sugar will cause you to have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, the whole nine. You know better. And when you know better, you can do better. A lot of people have stood in front of a judge and said, but sir, I didn't know. What did the judge say? Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I'm telling y'all now. So now you can't say you ain't heard it, because you heard it from me. You know better, you could do better. So you can change how your 20s plus go. I waited and I changed how mine went. And I'm so happy. See the smile? Let's get it. Once again, it's your boy, Coach Carl. Mr. 57 is the new 27. And I appreciate y'all logging in and checking out what all the fuss is about. But once again, I'm going to click off of here because I'm going to go for my run. So I'm going to catch y'all on the flip side. So once again, holla at your boy. I'm out.